Hi everybody, it's me. The Wild Update is Minecraft's next big update. Nowadays, it seems like that update is coming soon. If only there was a quick and concise video going over everything new inside of that update. Oh wait, that's this one right here. In this video, we'll be going over everything major coming to the Wild Update in 1.19. Keep in mind that the update's not finished quite yet, which means stuff will definitely change by the time it releases. Once 1.19 actually releases, I'll be dropping a more in-depth guide on everything inside of the update, so keep your eyes out for that. What's the single thing that you were most excited for in 1.19? Drop that down below, smash like, and let's talk about the LA. We'll start our look at the update today with the amazing yet unfortunate case of the LA. The LA is a brand new mob coming to the game in the Wild Update. The LA is the winner of the 2021 mob vote. If you'd like to get your own LA, you're going to have to rescue them. You'll find them trapped inside of cages at outposts or inside of the jail room inside of woodland mansions. Over 10 out of 10, definitely worth it though, because if you can find an LA and give it an item, then that LA will bring all of the items just like that item that it finds in the world over to you, or over to a note block. There are also going to be a couple advancements linked to the LA, which is another reason to get this thing. Of course, we've all heard of the swamp biome. It's one of Minecraft's oldest biomes and has been in the game for years. And this is also kind of interesting. Please, allow me to introduce you to the spiced up cousin of the swamp biome, the mangrove swamp biome. So it looks like the Wild Update will be adding 2 new biomes to the game in total. One of those biomes is found in the overworld, the mangrove swamp biome. The mangrove swamp biome is a really unique feeling biome. It's kind of like you take the jungle and then you take it and put it inside of a swamp or something. We've got a brand new unique watercolor, we've got mud all over the place, and we've got some brand new wonderful trees to check out here. First off, that water, ooh, look at that. It looks good. It's like kind of greeny, right? Second off, the trees, look at these things. These are wild. They're so cool. We'll come back to those in a minute though. Like I said, all over the ground, we've got mud. We also have moss carpet, one of the only places you'll be able to find this generating. And we've got mobs here too. The mangrove tree is the very first tree in the entire game to grow its own saplings. Check out this little thing right here. This is a propagule. That's nice. So what do you do with a propagule, you may ask? Well, of course you plant it. You can either plant the propagule on land, like normal, or inside of the water. You bone meal the propagule, and then eventually you get one of these mangrove trees. There's a lot of variety when it comes to these mangrove trees. Some of them are a little bit shorter. Some of the mangrove trees can be a little bit taller, just like that one right there. These things are some of the most complex trees in the entire game. Look at the roots right there. These are the only trees in the entire game, other than the azalea bushes, if you want to count those. We don't talk about those. These are the only trees in the entire game that have roots that actually grow with the tree. The leaves, absolutely chaotic. The vines all over the place, propagules growing on them, and moss carpet on the roots as well when you bone meal them. And of course, when there is a brand new type of tree added to the game, there is always, consistently, every single time, a brand new type of wood added as well. Even the developers have said that one themselves. Mangrove wood. Mangrove wood is Minecraft's newest wood. This is a red wood, and this is a really nice looking wood. Look at this stuff over here. Mangrove wood, it's like the perfect red tone. This is going to go so well in builds. Amazing. The log looks like that. The strip log looks like that. It's kind of like the stake wood too. You see it? The devs have not slacked on this one. We're looking at a full, complete family of wood with fences, fence gates, slabs, staircases, of course, and then, oh man, the doors, the trap doors. These things are gorgeous. Look at that thing. It looks so good. And then the trap door, it has a circle in the trap door. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. It's kind of mind-blowing if you ask me. Speaking of blocks that are great for building, mud. Mud is another new block that you'll be able to find in the mangrove swamp biome in 1.19. Now you can take normal mud and use it for farms and things like that. Talked about it in a different video. Really interesting block. Or you could craft it into one of these 2 blocks right here. In the back, we're looking at packed mud. Packed mud could make an amazing path block. Over here, mud bricks. With mud bricks, we get the whole family. We get staircases, walls, and slabs. And amazing. Absolutely top tier for building. In 1.19, inside of both the classic swamp and the new swamp, you'll be able to find the second Wild Update mob spawning, the frog. The frog is one of the most complex mobs in the entire game. There are layers to these things. First off, colorations. We've got 3 color variants. Inside of the mangrove swamp, you'll find the warm frog. Meanwhile, inside of the old classic swamp, you'll find this orange one. If you're lucky enough to find 2 frogs inside of your world, that's a great idea to give both of them a slime ball. That'll make them breed. Once they breed, one of the frogs will head over to the nearest body of water, swim around for a little while, and then eventually lay some eggs. Give it a little bit of time, and eventually those eggs will hatch into a tadpole, which you can then either let swim around and grow up, or pick it up in a bucket and move it somewhere else. With your tadpole inside of a bucket, go over to a cold biome and place it back down. Give it a little bit of time, let it grow up, and then eventually, boom, green frog. Looks amazing. Bring one of your newfound jumping friends over to the nether, show it a magma cube, it'll eat the magma cube, and then frog line. The color of frog correlates to frog-like color. It's pretty cool. Hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown, this is your quick reminder to make sure you're subscribed. If you aren't, definitely change that and turn notifications on. I post cool videos that will revolutionize your life almost every single day. Alright, let's switch the tone up on them and make it dark and make it evil, because the next thing added in the wild update is under the ground, and it's dark and it's deep. The deep dark biome. Okay, maybe it's too dark. The Deep Dark is a brand new cave biome being added to the game inside of the wild update. You'll be able to find this biome generating inside of the caves, because it's a cave biome. In the grand scheme of things, aside from a really cool structure that we'll talk about, there's not much to see here inside of the Deep Dark biome. We've got the skulk sensors all over the place, the skulk blocks on the ground all over the place, the catalyst, the shriekers every once in a while. It's going to be a dangerous place if you're not quiet. But right now, aside from an insane amount of skulk blocks, a really cool structure, the Deep Dark biome, that's actually like basically it. Everything kind of comes from the catalyst, so that's the perfect spot to start. The Skulk Catalyst. This is the brand new catalyst block right here. It's Skulk on the top, who knows what's on the bottom. The Skulk Catalyst causes the spread of Skulk. If we take a mob out that drops XP near a catalyst, the Skulk, look at that. Literally, it spreads. When the Skulk spreads, there are like 4 possible blocks you could be fine. 2 of them are a little bit less interesting than the other ones though. First up, the Skulk block. This is the Skulk block right here. Texture on this thing, super clean, it's animated, it's nice. Then the Skulk vein. The Skulk vein is kind of like glow-lichen, except it's not glowing. Again, animated texture, it's really cool. If we break the Skulk block with our hand right here, we get experience. So that means this biome, it's an XP farm biome. But those aren't the only things that thing could generate. You could also generate a Skulk sensor. The Skulk sensors, oh boy, this is one of the most complex redstone components in the entire game. Basically, these things work off of vibrations. When I move around and I'm not crouching, the sensor will hear me. Unless I'm on wool. There's this whole wool occlusion mechanic, really advanced. We also have signal strengths and signal sorting with comparators. Ah man, like no joke, if I tried to explain every mechanic tied to this thing, this video would be like 30 minutes long. So today, just know that this thing is insanely advanced, useful in many different types of redstone contraptions, and it's super cool. Well, super cool unless you pair it with, dare I say, one of the most beautiful blocks in the entire game, the Skulk Shrieker. Skulk sensor senses me and then tells on me to the Skulk Shrieker. Look at the particles coming from this thing, so cool looking. That's the Shrieker, we got the creepy noise and everything. If we set this thing off 3 times, something not very good is going to happen. Look, villager, this isn't going to be my problem. First off, darkness. The darkness will creep in. That's really creepy. But eventually, after setting this thing off enough, you get the big bad villain of the wild update, the warden. The warden is another one of those wild update features that is insanely complex. This is one of the strongest mobs in the entire game. It's also blind. It works off of vibrations. If you make noise, it will hear you and find you. If you don't make noise, then it'll smell you and it will find you. Basically, if you set this thing off, no matter what, this thing will find you, and when it finds you, it will not be good. The warden is insanely strong and can like 2-shot you, even if you're in like full netherite. Only if it can find you though. Rapid fire round. Instead of 1.19 on Java Edition, you can now waterlog leaves. If you're lucky enough to find a goat, definitely not inside of a jungle, and you have that goat smash into a block, that goat might drop a goat horn. You use the goat horn, and you'll get some kind of noise. The wild update brings 4 bedrock paintings over to Java, but they're only accessible through commands. And speaking of commands, the wild update adds a brand new one, the place command. With the place command, you'll be able to almost crash your game. And also play structures. It's pretty cool. Minecarts stay together. Chessboat stays together. Oh wait, speaking of chessboat, how have we not talked about it? Chessboat is a brand new thing coming to the game in 1.19. It's like the best invention of all time. It's a boat with a chest inside of it. You put things inside of the chest while you're exploring. It stays inside of the chest. This thing is literal perfection. You may not like it, but this is peak performance right here. With that rapid fire round done out of the way, that brings us to our final portion of the video, the ancient city. Minecraft 1.19 will add one of the biggest structures and most interesting structures to the game ever. The ancient city. At their biggest, they can be over 200 blocks wide. Like you would probably gather from the name, the ancient city is essentially some kind of big city, except it's ancient. We've got this big portal thing in the middle with a brand new block of reinforced deep slate right there, and then we've got buildings and ruins all over this thing. Inside of those buildings, you'll be able to find loot, including new loot. For the first time since 1.16, we've got a new enchantment coming to the game. The enchantment is a legging enchantment. Swift Sneak. With level 3, you'll be able to sneak so fast. Like, look at this. You'll also be able to find a new item called an Echo Shard. If you're able to find at least 8 of these things, go to a crafting table, combine it with a compass, and you'll get the brand new recovery compass. If you ever die in your world, grab one of these things and the recovery compass will point you towards where you last died. And finally, disc fragments. You're going to need to look around the ancient city for 9 of these things. 9 disc fragments plus crafting table equals the brand new music disc in 1.19. 5. 5 is a creepy music disc. It seems to tell a story. Maybe the story hints at the future, but it's also a story we don't have time for today. And so that should just about do it. From the ancient city to the mangrove swamp, that's 1.19. Now that you've heard them all, if you haven't answered yet, which one are you most excited for? Let me know down below. Huge thanks to all of you for watching this video, especially if you made it to this point, and big thank you to my patrons, Bill W, Monkey Boy Chuck, Tanner B, and Faithful Grimwar. Your support helps me make videos like this one. If you're into the wild update on the end card, I'll put my playlist to my wild update videos. Check it out after this. But with that, that's all I have for you today. It's been me, your boy Waddles. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.